good spells of sunshine once again, and it will still feel mild, perhaps not quite as warm as Thursday, but still temperatures in the mid-teens for most places. But there is a change on the cards as we head towards the weekend. It will turn cooler but brighter for all of us.
Time for the Prime Minister as the Cabinet meets to discuss the Brexit divorce agreement. Cabinet ministers are heading to Downing Street as the Prime Minister seeks to get their backing for the proposal. She says she will deliver on Brexit.
We will take back control of our money, laws and borders. We will deliver Brexit, and the United Kingdom is leaving the European Union on the 29th of March 2019.
Does the Prime Minister still intend to put a false choice to Parliament between her botched deal or no deal?
I'll be reporting live from Downing Street with less than an hour to go until the most crucial cabinet meeting of Theresa May's premiership.
We'll have all the latest from Westminster and from Brussels, also this lunchtime. Dozens of people are still unaccounted for after California's worst wildfires in history as the death toll rises to 48. Prince Charles celebrates his 70th birthday today. He'll have tea with fellow 70-year-olds and dinner with the Queen. And on public display for the first time in more than 200 years, jewels once belonging to Queen Marie Antoinette of France go under the hammer.
And coming up on BBC News, the first Premier League sacking of the season. Slavisa Jokanovic loses his job at Fulham. He'll be replaced by Claudio Ranieri.
Good afternoon and welcome to the BBC News at 1. Theresa May is preparing to meet her cabinet in less than an hour's time as she tries to secure support for her draft Brexit agreement with the EU. In the Commons this lunchtime, she told MPs that it would deliver on the outcome of the 2016 referendum to leave the European Union and that the government would not hold another referendum. Senior Conservative MPs across the party have called on ministers to reject the deal, saying it would leave Britain locked into the EU's rules, while the Democratic Unionists have warned it could lead to the breakup of the United Kingdom. The Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn says the draft agreement is a half-baked failure. Well, let's go to Ben Brown, who is in Downing Street with all the latest. Ben.
Yeah, Sophie, less than an hour to go, as you say, until what will be the most crucial cabinet meeting of Theresa May's premiership. 874 days after the British people voted in the referendum to leave the European Union, the cabinet will finally gather here this afternoon in Downing Street to decide whether it can support the draft withdrawal agreement. Now, in advance of today's cabinet meeting, ministers have been arriving here last. Damien, thank you. And this cabinet meeting begins at 2 o'clock. It's expected to last, Sophie, for about 3 hours. So about 5 o'clock, we should know whether the Prime Minister has overcome the latest obstacle in her attempts to secure a Brexit deal for Britain. Full coverage throughout the afternoon on the BBC News channel. But from Downing Street, Sophie, back to you.
Ben, thank you very much. The time is 1:15, our top story this lunchtime. Theresa May prepares to meet her cabinet in Downing Street amid criticism from across her party over the draft Brexit deal with the EU. And still to come, jewellery from the last Queen of France, Marie Antoinette, goes to auction 200 years after her death.
Coming up on BBC News, a half-century for Sam Curran boosts England's chances in the second test against Sri Lanka. They finished their first innings on 285.
Dozens of people are still unaccounted for in the town of Paradise in Northern California, which was destroyed by a wildfire last week. 48 people are now known to have died. Firefighters say they've now contained the worst of the fires in the north of the state, but they don't expect to get it fully under control until the end of the month. Our correspondent Dave Lee sent this report from...
So although there'll be some good spells of sunshine around on Saturday and Sunday, it will feel noticeably cooler by day and also by night. Sophie.
No, thank you. A reminder of our main story this lunchtime. Crunch time for Theresa May as she prepares to face her cabinet at 2 o'clock this afternoon amid calls from her party to reject her Brexit agreement with the EU. That's all from the BBC News at 1. It's goodbye from me. On BBC One, we join the BBC's news teams where you are. Bye-bye.
Hello, good afternoon. You're watching BBC News. I'm Catherine Downs with the very latest for you from the BBC Sports Centre. And we've had the first sacking of the Premier League.